right, welcome back to another episode of Bet GPT. Today, we're going live. It's Sunday morning around 9 a.m. Pacific time. The college football playoff is about to be announced. The committee's together. They're formulating their final answer. We should get the answer here within the next 5 or 10 minutes. So we wanted to come at you live. So Slade, let's get into it. What's your top four? I guess let's start with you say what your top four is. I'll say what my top four is, and then we can say what we think the committee's going to decide real quick.
Oh, you want me to pick which four I think are the best four?
Yeah.
Or are you saying what I think the top four will be?
You do what your opinion is first and how you would put it.
Okay. My top four would probably still have Georgia in it.
Wow.
Right.
It's hard though because if Georgia lost to Alabama like week 4 or 5, they'd probably be in. They just happened to lose to them in the last game of the year.
Is it crazy if I think Ohio State might still be a top 4 team?
Just put Georgia against Ohio State in a bowl game and call that the national title.
Yeah, honestly. There's Texas. I think Texas will get in. I think they're going to be the one loss team that gets in. And I'm fine with that. If Alabama gets in, I won't be mad because I think that they're really damn good. But I don't know how you can justify leaving Texas out.
Yeah.
I think the SEC is not going to have a single team in, and that's insane. But it's kind of an awesome ending to the CFP 14 era.
I don't understand the SEC hate and how that's awesome. That's boring. The SEC is the best conference. I don't care if it was a down year this year. Yeah, I don't care. It's still the best conference. I don't care. So I do think it's going to end up being Michigan, Washington in some order, and then it's probably going to be stupid ass Florida State and then Texas, which is
Florida
just ridiculous.
State screwed everything.
Whoever you think Florida State is playing, like I guess I'm talking to you because this won't be out in time, but whoever you think Florida State is playing in the first round, take that other team to win the Natty because they got a first round bye. You could get Washington to win the Natty at plus 600.
Yeah, Florida State's going to be the 3 seed, so you're going to have every team in the playoff trying to be the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Being a 1 seed has no advantages because you're basically picking between, assuming it's Texas at 4, you'd be playing either Texas or Florida State in the first round. I'd much rather play Florida State.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the third best team in the SEC?
The third best team in the SEC? So it's obviously
Bama,
Georgia and then Bama in whatever order you want. The third best team, I mean, it's probably LSU. They have a horrible defense, but they can score 50 on anybody. Ole Miss is next in the rankings. I guess there's Mizzou as well.
So the best team in the SEC lost at home to the Big 12 champ, and the third best team in the SEC lost at a neutral site to Florida State.
Dude, I'm over here wearing a freaking Texas sweatshirt, but they beat Bama in week 1. Who cares?
It wasn't week 1.
They weren't week 2, whatever. Is Jalen Milrose whatever third or fourth career start? He didn't even play. Now look at how much better he is at the end of the year. It's ridiculous.
I don't disagree. I think Bama's really good. Why even play the games if they aren't going to matter?
I'm going to have a meltdown live on camera if Bama misses.
They're going to miss.
Ridiculous.
There's no way Texas and Bama can both make it unless Florida State's out.
Third string quarterback, you need to take into account the injuries. Florida, did anyone even watch the Florida State game last night? People who didn't even like Big Ten football were watching the Iowa-Michigan game. And then, I just glanced over at the end of the first quarter and Florida State had 8 combined yards. Get out of here. No one wants that.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. I only know 2 players on Florida State's whole team besides Jordan Travis, who's not playing anymore. There's Keon Coleman and Jared Verse.
Is Roberto Aguayo still the kicker for Florida State?
No.
Yeah, it's oh my gosh. This is ridiculous. All right, so it looks like the college football show is starting. It's 9:02 a.m. They're going through some stupid intro here.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't drag this out. If they do end up dragging this out, we can somehow cut this, I guess. But I'm hoping that this is only a 15 or 20 minute quick little pod. Um,
So can they? Do they go like top 25, like 25-1? Yeah, I don't know how this works.
I don't either. Did you see Iowa's ranked 20th in the AP poll?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm wearing my Iowa jacket, but I want to say to anyone who watched that game sober last night, you deserve a Purple Heart, man. Like that could not have been fun if you're not a Michigan fan and you were sober.
Well, I can, I guess, speak to that. It wasn't fun, but it was fun making fun of Deacon Hill. For some reason, late in the game, I found myself rooting for Deacon Hill because I feel like his career's over. He is never going to take a meaningful football snap after the bowl game for the rest of his life. This is
Yeah.
like the peak of his life.
Yeah. Do we
Other
need to
than
pull up
when
Kirk's quote where he just threw him under the bus?
that was bad. That I didn't like that at all.
No, like it's not Deacon Hill's fault that you didn't recruit a damn backup. He goes,
Yeah,
I still think would have been better off this year if we had the quarterback we thought was going to be our starter playing. He's played in this game before as a winning quarterback. No shit. Like,
bad.
why
Yeah.
say that?
That's so against
Why you lost?
the sentiment he's had the whole year.
You
Yeah.
scored 0 points for Penn State with Cade. I know he wasn't healthy, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Kirk.
Kirk just refuses to admit he has no offensive clue.
Did you see Brian was finally wearing a Hawkeye logo on his shirt after like a 4-week hiatus?
Brian's highlight of that game was getting a flag for
Dude,
screaming at
yeah,
the
at least he
ref.
cares.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
best
I
thing he
like
did
that.
all day.
Yeah, that's the best thing he did all season, actually. But yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
all right, let me go through the AP poll real quick. Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas 3, Florida State 4. So the AP would
Mm.
have those 4 in. Then it's Bama 5, Georgia 6, Ohio State 7, Oregon 8.
Dude, they
And
just
then
said
for Pete
Michigan defeated TCU 26-0 instead of Iowa. No.
that
I am this cannot be real. I am offended. We aren't a cult.
That's hilarious. Oh, they sent a representative to Why would they send a random woman for ESPN out to Washington? What is she going to report on if she's just standing on the field by herself? The budgets, man. All right. You know how you were hating on the SEC?
Sure. I'm
Missouri's
a truther.
9. Missouri's 9. Ole Miss is 11. LSU is 13. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 13. But you think the conference sucks? That makes no sense. All those teams are ranked ahead of like the darlings from the Pac-12. Arizona, Oregon State. Come on. That's what I thought.
I'm tweeting a photo of the Michigan
What?
of
Oh,
Michigan defeating TCU 26-0.
you got it. Oh my goodness. All right. They're still talking, still talking. Yeah, so I guess one thing I did want to share this weekend is I was watching the Washington Oregon game and I bet a bunch of Bo Nix alt over rushing yards. I bet him over 12 and a half, over 22 and a half, 33 and a half, like 40, 50, and 63. Um, and essentially I hit all of them and
You're rich.
let's just say I'm up 30 units off Bo Nix rushing. So
I followed
that
you on
was
like his normal line, not his alt lines, and that was my only winner of the day.
dude, I was like in the kitchen grabbing a drink or snack or something, and I walk out and I just see Bo Nix scrambling on third down, going up the sideline for 44, and I'm like, oh my god. My wife's like, what? And I was like, we are so rich right
This
now.
pays for
She's like, okay.
Disney.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. The $500 I spent at Disney the other week,
So I
which was fun, by the way.
I guess I'm more curious now to know who's going to be 3. Like, would they actually put FSU as the 4?
I think they have to put what they're going to want to do is they're going to want this to be as like simple as possible where there's not going to be any controversy. So 3 has to be Florida State, and then they'll be like, well, it was between Texas and Bama, so we're taking Texas because of the head to head.
That's what I think is going to happen too. I just didn't know if the committee would have the balls to put FSU at 4, knowing that that would be the worst team in and the biggest advantage for the 1 seed to play. But
Yeah,
I can't imagine them doing that.
yeah,
I think if you're a Washington fan right now, you've got to be feeling pretty good. I mean, we haven't seen what it comes out as, but you got to be feeling pretty damn good because I mean, you're going to face FSU, and I don't I don't think that Michigan or Texas is like unbeatable for them. So,
I don't think so either.
like they're one good game with Penix away from winning a national title essentially.
And yeah, if you look at Michigan the last couple playoffs, they've totally choked. So I don't.
Right.
They're like as low as like plus 150 to win the title. I don't. Yeah, I love Michigan more than most people, but come on. Let's not give them plus 150. They couldn't even move the ball in Iowa yesterday, which
Yeah.
yes, Iowa's a top 10 defense, but come on.
Yeah. I mean,
McCarthy, should we be worried about him? He has not looked good in
dude, I don't
weeks.
I think if you draft him, you're drafting like a Marcus Mariota type quarterback. That's what I'm starting to wonder. He might
Yeah,
be just a game manager in the NFL. Like if you told me the Bears could get Harbaugh, but they had to have JJ McCarthy, I'd be like, fuck no. I'll
yeah,
take a Ben Johnson with like any of the other quarterbacks. Who is your
yeah,
quarterback 3? Because Carson Beck didn't look good either, and I thought he might shoot up the boards.
yeah. Well, it sounds like Quinn Ewers is staying, Riley Leonard is staying, so they're off the board. Um, what I'm seeing a lot of buzz is Jaden Daniels as QB3.
Hmm.
I I guess. I mean, I'd rather take a risk on a high upside explosive guy like him over McCarthy.
Hmm.
I guess who even are our other options?
Nix, Penix,
Nix and Penix.
Rattler,
No,
Beck.
no, no. I'm out on all
Yeah, and
three of
then
those guys.
McCarthy.
I'm open with Carson Beck, but I think he's going to come back next year. I don't think it's worth it for him. I think he needs to come back and then duke it out with Ewers, Leonard, uh,
Yeah,
and
like
himself to get the one for
PFF
next year.
in their latest rankings came out November 27th, so it's like a week ago. Obviously, it's not including this championship week, but they put Bo Nix as QB 3 and Jaden
Yeah,
Daniels 4, Penix 5, Shadeur Sanders. It sounds like is coming back, but he was 6,
yeah,
Beck 7, McCarthy, Ewers, Leonard. So out of the top 10, they have basically one, two, at least 3 guys who are going to come back to school. I really only, so it's basically 7.
Bo Nix is interesting because he has obviously gotten a lot better since his freshman year at Auburn. So I guess you can project another big jump like that. I guess I would be maybe okay with taking a risk on him. But man, like in just the past several drafts, like you can draft these guys so early and still end up as busts. And it's hard looking at all these great wide receivers and offensive linemen and cornerbacks that are like, yeah, they're not locks, but like I'd almost rather have one of those guys at a premier position have like a 75% success rate than a QB that's 50-50 or like 50-50 even just be serviceable. So,
Yeah. The odds of you hitting a stud quarterback in this day and age is like you need to have a top 3 pick. Like outside of
you
Josh
need to
Allen and
have
like Lamar, who were kind of like one guy played at Wyoming and another guy people thought was like shouldn't even be a quarterback. Like how many of these good QBs have we seen that are like outside of the top 2 or 3? Like Joe Burrow
yeah.
was 1, Trevor Lawrence 1. I mean Mahomes, I guess. maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems like the scouting has gotten a lot better in like compared to like back in the day with like Breeze and Tom Brady and all those guys.
Yeah. You brought up Josh Allen. He does have the most turnovers in the NFL since 2018. Just to be transparent. So,
Your MVP?
um, yeah, there's limitations with him as well. I think I need to shift my narrative to Joe Burrow as the MVP next year instead of Allen.
I was kind of starting to get on that train until he got hurt again.
Yeah, he definitely has that swagger, and he's just like these guys. Like he's probably the most polished passer in the NFL, I think. Whereas Mahomes has like the game breaking ability, and can make like the absurd throws, and then Allen has like the legs in there as well, but he just makes too many mistakes. But
I had Mahomes at six
um,
to one before the season for MVP, and it seems like he's not even having a great year, and he's still down to like 350 to like plus 350.
yeah, so let's talk MVP real quick while they're still hem hawing over here on the ESPN. So, Dak Prescott with a huge week kind of vaulted himself into top five odds. Oh, where is this here? Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. It says most regular season total passing yards. Dak is the leader at plus 270. I thought that was MVP. I was about to freak out. All right. Season awards MVP Jalen Hurts plus 190, Dak Prescott plus 370, Mahomes plus 470, Lamar Jackson plus 650, Tua plus 900, and then Brock Purdy 10 to 1. Um, let's just let me just talk Lamar and Tua real
Hmm.
quick. I don't think either of those guys have a chance. I feel like that's just throwing like that's lighting money
I
on
agree.
fire.
I agree with Lamar especially.
So Jalen Hurts obviously plays Brock Purdy this weekend. If one of those guys throws for 3 touchdowns, watch out. That could be
Is
huge.
that the MVP right there with kind of Mahomes hanging out as like the third guy? Like it almost feels like that's like a Penix versus Knicks with Jaden Daniels hanging out in the background if someone doesn't like take over. Because if Jalen Hurts balls out, I feel like MVP, unless he goes just sucks the rest of the year, his odds for MVP are going to be like minus 150.
Yeah. I think this is a big matchup, but just like I don't know if you've looked at the Cowboys schedule, they have the
Oh,
at home
Dak,
against the
yeah.
Eagles, they have at the Bills, at the Dolphins, Lions at home, and then Commanders. Like if they go 4-1 over that stretch, and definitely 5-0. Like that's MVP right there. As crazy as that sounds, Dak Prescott could be MVP, and I'm kicking myself because he was like 30 to 1 last week. I don't know why we didn't get on that,
30 to 1
but
in 1 week gets you
yeah,
back up to top four.
it was something like that. Brock Purdy was 17 to 1. Now he's down to 10 to 1. So at least we have
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll have to start looking at our hedging options over the next month. I already have Mahomes at 6 to 1. I have Purdy at 17 to 1. So I feel pretty good. Really, the only way I'm going to get screwed is if Jalen Hurts goes nuts and it drops to like minus 150, minus 200. And at that point, you're like, I don't even know if hedging is worth it.
yeah, yeah, it's tough. Um, I don't know. I mean, like you saw with Hurts last year, he also like got injured, and then his odds fell off. It fell off a cliff right away. So a lot can change.
Dude,
All
this
right, what are
selection
they?
show takes fucking forever.
I know we're already 20 minutes in. This is disaster.
Like,
This
are they gonna tell us when it's coming?
I don't know. Do you want to pause here and wait until it starts and then just restart it back up?
Yeah.
All right. All right. We'll be back in a second, guys. Thanks. All right. Here we go. We're back. It's 9:21. We just waited, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes there. They are about to announce it, and then in 9 minutes they're talking to the college football chairman. So, um, Yeah, final thoughts. If Bama doesn't get in, this is ridiculously stupid, and the best teams are not in.
For final
But
thoughts,
here we go.
let's root Florida State doesn't get in and chaos ensues and we have just like a huge shit show. Oh, they're gonna start with number 6, so you know who doesn't get in?
They just showed number one for me. Have you seen one
No,
yet?
I'm behind.
Okay, I'm not going to give anything
Okay,
away.
there we
You
go.
just
I got it.
announced
I
on
got it. We
your
got
end.
Michigan
You
as the
just
1
announced on.
seed.
All right.
I thought or Washington had a chance, but whatever. Apparently Michigan's offense looked good versus Iowa in their eyes. Iowa shut their asses down, man.
Yeah, I was not impressed with Michigan at all. They didn't even like really break out any like big runs or anything either. Like it's not that hard to score twice from the 5-yard line
Yeah, dude. They
and then have a couple other
they
decent
went
drives.
3 for 15 on third down. They averaged 1.9 yards a rush. And then also, if you think back to their first touchdown drive or field goal, or was it, yeah, first field goal, like they had to go for it on fourth down twice just to get those 3 points. Like it was uphill sledding for them. And then they just
Yeah.
got great field position twice. Like that game easily could have been like 12-0. Um,
Yeah.
Washington, number 2, as
All
expected.
right. No surprises. No
So yeah, we're
surprises.
we're kind of chalk through 2.
So who is Washington going to play? Do they have a real game in Texas or Bama, or do they basically have a bye, which would be
Everybody in the
amazing for
Pacific
them?
Northwest is rooting for this to be Florida State at 3.
Yes.
Florida State fans are also rooting for this to be them. Everybody outside of Washington and Florida is wanting it to be anyone else.
Yeah, like the TV networks too are begging that Florida State is not in this because no one's gonna watch. I mean, people will tune in, but I'm not gonna be very motivated to watch a full game of Florida State.
Yeah, if they get in, I hope they lose by 100. I thought that about TCU though last year, and they won. Texas 3.
Texas 3. They were minus 300 this morning. I cannot believe that was not a bet. But that was wow.
Wow.
Texas is 3, so that means we have a 4. It's Florida State, Bama as the options. So our scenario of Texas being 4 or Texas being 4 over Bama is not a thing. So I do not know if Florida State is safe right now.
Dude, this is crazy. Either Washington or Texas is in the national title. Like, I'm sad because like those are the 2
That's fun.
Yeah, those are like the 2 teams that I kinda wanted to be in the title, but at least now we're guaranteed one of them is in.
How mad is Brady Ellington that Texas is in the college football playoff?
Oh, he's gonna be the biggest Husky fan. But dude, I can't believe Florida State didn't get we thought they'd go chalk, and it would just be the 13-0 teams, but if you're a Michigan fan, you're sitting here like, we got TCU last year, and if you don't beat Florida State this year, assuming that's who it's gonna be, we haven't seen it yet, but like Harbaugh would be the biggest playoff choker of all time. This is the easiest playoff matchup if it is Florida State in the history of the playoff.
This
is easier than Cincinnati or Michigan State in 2015.
So one spot left: Bama, Georgia, Florida State.
It can't be Georgia. That's the only thing. I think Georgia's a top 4 team. I don't think it makes sense to put
it can't
them.
because the head-to-head. Yeah. That's not right.
Bama would have a gripe. Florida State would have a gripe. It'd be a chaos.
This has to be Bama because they have Texas as the 3 now. They only lost to the number 3 team. Are they going to reveal 4, 5, or 6 first year? I think they have to reveal 6. I'm guessing.
Is Georgia going to be the 6? Think about if you're Florida State. If you're a Florida, like I'm trying to put myself in a Florida State fan's position. Like if this was Iowa, okay, Georgia's the 6, so that makes sense. Oh man, this is it.
Please be Bama, please, for the sake
like
of
if Iowa went
13-0,
I'd like to think they'd make the playoff but I think we'd be viewed similar to Florida State.
I don't understand, but dude, Iowa would beat Florida State in a bowl game.
Oh man. Yeah, don't spoil it for me. Bama! Holy shit!
Let's go. Bama sneaks in as the 4. We have Michigan, Bama against Washington, Texas. That is amazing. Well done to the committee.
We did it. Florida State, they have to be. We thought they were going to be 3, and they're not. And then I thought they were going to be 4, and here they are at 5. Wow.
Dude, you have to go back and watch the YouTube. My face, I like audibly gasped when Bama showed up on my screen, but I couldn't say anything.
Dude, there is going to be. I needed to check Twitter.
Oh,
Holy
this is
shit.
amazing. This is amazing. The final year of the 4-team playoff, they did it. Everyone's tweeting, this is sickening for Florida State. Shut up. They suck. No one wants to watch them. No one
Florida
wants
State's
it.
going to end up playing some bowl game against some dog shit team and probably lose. Dude, I still just can't believe they left out a 13-0 conference Power 5 champ.
Yeah, well, when your best wins are Louisville and who else did they beat? Oh, LSU? Yeah. Don't care.
Let's also
Feel bad for them all you want. They don't deserve it.
if the real loser in all of this is Michigan.
Yeah, they lost a first round bye and they're about to get beat.
Michigan went from thinking worst case we're playing Texas, maybe best case we play Florida State, and now they're playing Bama, who is playing their best football. Holy shit.
I don't know if the Michigan AD or anyone involved with Michigan is on the committee, but they were begging for Florida State to get in at 4. That's how they should decide things. Talk to the team that's the 1 seed. Ask them who they don't want to play and put them in as the 4 because that's the best team. They do not want to play Bama.
I agree. They need to
They do not want
I
to
would
play
also
Bama.
add some drama if you had to like bring Harbaugh onto ESPN and be like, who do you want to play in the first round? And that's the 4 seed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
man, Alabama.
I think what we need to root for now is we need Florida State to win their bowl game so that they can go 14-0 and we can call them like the fake champions.
I was gonna say, are they gonna
whatever.
pull a UCF and be like, we went undefeated? Like they're giving themselves the national title, like or whatever it's called.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Go
do
ahead.
it.
Yeah.
I want to apologize for Bama. I know I thought they'd lose twice, but then again, 4th and 31 against Auburn. Dude, if
Jalen Milroe, baby.
if Auburn doesn't play the worst defensive snap or just like the worst play call ever on that, rushing 3, Bama loses to a 6-6 team. Like the last week of the regular season.
Yeah, and then they probably lose to Bama this week because there's not a lot of motivation
Georgia, you
or
mean?
not as
Yeah.
much motivation. Georgia, and then it's Georgia against Texas, Michigan against Washington. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like if I'm Florida State,
Crazy
I'm
how this
sitting
stuff
there
happens.
and I'm saying, Bama lost at home by double digits. Bama needed a 4th and 31 lucky play to beat a 6-6 Auburn team. Like
Yeah.
I would be kind of sick, but as a neutral fan, I'm happy. So I apologize for saying Bama would lose 2 games this year. I still feel like I was on the right side of that. I don't care.
Yeah, you probably were.
But I do regret us not getting in on that Alabama future because you brought it up on the pod when it was like what, some crazy number.
It was like 100-1.
Yeah. Note to self: anytime Nick Saban and Alabama are 100-1, it's worth.
With 1
It's
loss.
worth it.
Yeah.
Because right now, think about all the ways we could hedge if we had 100-1.
It'd be so easy. It'd be so easy. And I'm let me pull up the lines real quick. I feel like they're probably up already. We can talk these look ahead lines real quick. So they only have Washington, Texas up right now. Texas is a 3.5 point favorite against Washington. I feel like that's about right, but I think Washington is very live to win that game.
Yeah, dude, can you imagine Texas versus Michigan in the title game? Dude, if Texas and Bama play, then that's a rematch of that Tuscaloosa game. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Some random dude, his name is @Vegas B. Edwards, BrianEdwardsSports.com. He's a handicapper. He's saying that his odds would be Texas -3 over Washington and Bama -6 over Michigan. I feel like that'd be crazy to have the 4 seed a 6-point favorite. But we'll see what FanDuel ends up posting.
I honestly think Texas might be the most dangerous team. I'm torn because you can make a case for all four teams. Is it crazy that I actually believe in Michigan the least and they're the 1 seed?
And they have the lowest odds. Michigan +125, Bama +300, Texas +300, Washington +700. I would much rather bet Washington +700 than Michigan.
Because like Texas has already beaten one of the 4 teams. Ewers has some injuries in there that made Texas's stats not look as good for a while. Like the metrics and all of that type of shit. I think it's going to make them look a little worse because they had like that month without Ewers. But when Ewers has been healthy, Texas has been maybe the best team.
They've sure looked good.
Like I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly, but I don't know if he was 100% in that Oklahoma game either. But I mean,
I think he was good enough
yeah,
where there shouldn't be an excuse. But speaking of injuries, did you see Xavier Worthy got hurt for Texas?
I did not know that.
Their starting wide receiver. He came out in a boot in the fourth quarter. It looks like Michigan is -2, around -2, to win, or -2 in their game against Alabama.
If you're a Florida State fan too, this is incentive to leave for the SEC, maybe. Well, I guess it doesn't matter now that it's a 14 playoff or 12-team playoff after this, but I would be like, what do we have to do to get in the playoff? You know what I mean? Like you're in a Power 5 and you schedule fucking LSU at a neutral site. Like think about that. Imagine Iowa going 13-0 and playing LSU at a neutral site and not getting in. I'd be fucking pissed.
It's just because the third string quarterback. That's why.
Yeah,
If Jordan
that's a
Travis were
dangerous
healthy,
precedent to set, I feel
they
like.
would be in. No, it's not, because they did the same thing with Cardell Jones with Ohio State, and they went out and beat they beat Wisconsin 55-0. So they proved that they were still good without JT Barrett.
But they did beat Florida in the swamp and then win the ACC title by double
Yeah, without
digits
Graham Mertz.
for 1 quarter.
You need Graham Mertz needs to play all 4 quarters. Otherwise, it doesn't
Like they
matter.
beat Florida more handily than Bama beat Auburn. And Florida's better than Auburn, I think.
I agree.
I
Yeah.
don't know, man. These are just going to be 2 really good games, so I feel like I'm not going to bitch too much, but this is actually like the perfect matchup because like Bama and Michigan are like probably the 2 more physical teams, and then you have Washington and Texas that are going to be able to chuck the ball around a bit. I honestly
Yeah.
could see there's 4 teams, so there's 4 possible scenarios for a final outcome. I think all 4 of them are live. Like all 4 of them are possible. If Bama won it all, I wouldn't be shocked. If Michigan won it all, I wouldn't be shocked. Washington's got a tougher road than I originally thought, but I still think they have a chance. I don't think Texas and Oregon are necessarily that far
Yeah.
apart. Like if Texas doesn't play well, I would still
Yeah.
probably
This
take
is
Texas to win, but I mean, it would be close. I don't care. I want the
the
right side of the bracket. I want the 2 and 3 seed winner to win it all, though.
well, you're gonna have a 50-50 chance.
So, and I'm rooting for Bama on the other side.
I'm still deciding. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out in the coming weeks. But yeah, so now it's kind of weird. We have a 28-day hiatus between the games. So we have New Year's Eve, the 31st. There's a game at 5 Eastern and 8 Eastern. I believe the Bama Michigan game is
Do
first.
they
So
announce the bowl games
um,
today?
Yeah, I believe the bowl games come out this afternoon. So we're looking at Iowa most likely to be in the Citrus Bowl down in Florida against Ole Miss, I believe. So okay. Any other closing thoughts?
No, I guess I'm curious. I'm just gonna be curious to see what Florida State's coach and all of them have to say, but and the ACC
Yeah.
commissioner, and it'll be interesting. But the four best
Yeah.
teams I think are in. What if one last thought? What if Florida State plays like Ohio State or Georgia in a bowl game and just beats the shit out of them?
That'd be hilarious. Rodemaker throws for like 500 yards, couple
Yeah,
TDs.
I, oh man, like even Michigan losing early would just like kind of suck for the Big Ten. Like they've had like no playoff success besides Ohio State a couple times here and
Yeah.
there. Like we just don't. I don't know. I'd like to see a Big Ten team win it, but fuck Michigan.
Does Iowa get extra money if Michigan wins?
Um, that's a good question. They get
I don't
money
know.
from
I don't know how
Michigan
that
being
works.
in. I don't know if they get more if they make it to the title.
Gotcha.
So like all
Okay.
the ACC schools lost out on like a couple $1 million with this decision. So that's
Hate to
that's
see it.
that's tough for like some of those other athletic departments.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in for this special live show. This was pretty fun. Kind of just had to take advantage of this because this is the last 14 playoff. I don't think next year is going to be as exciting because the fringe of like 12, 13, 14, I feel like people aren't going to be that up in arms about. Obviously, unless it's the Hawks sitting there in the mid teens. So, but yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back probably Tuesday nights, sometime early this week. We'll be back in our 2 episodes per week schedule, hopefully for the upcoming future shows. So, thank you for tuning in. This has been another episode of Bet GPT.